Hi everyone, welcome to the platform of Knowledge for IAS. This is Ajay Shah. So this video is going to be there for the people who want to know what is the meaning of UPSC and how basically to start with the world of UPSC, IAS examination, civil service examination and all. So in this video I am going to tell you the precise introduction, the basic introduction of UPSC in a very brief manner. So let us start the class. So basically, India is a very vast country. It has a state government, central government, municipal governments, etc. And so to run such a vast country, we need a vast pool of officers. We need a massive bureaucracy. And that is why Government of India and state governments, they have made many examination taking bodies like UPSC, SSC, State Public Service Commission bodies, etc. Now, UPSC stands for Union Public Service Commission, and the prime job of UPSC is to recruit officers so that the officers can work under Government of India and even the state governments. Now, UPSC is famous for conducting lot of examinations. There are many examinations which are conducted by UPSC, and some of the popular examinations conducted by UPSC are examinations like civil services, which recruit officers like IAS, IPS, IRS, IFS, etc. Then Indian Engineering Services, then Indian Forest Services, Central Armed Police Forces. So this is basically the officers who serve in CRPF, CISF, etc. Then Indian Economic Services, then National Defense Academy Examination and Combined Medical Services. So you can see UPSC is primarily a body which recruit top officers to serve government of India or even the state governments. But out of all these examination, the most popular examination is civil services examination. And that is why whenever someone says that I am preparing for UPSC, by default it means that that person is basically preparing for civil services examination only. And so it is often said that I am preparing for UPSC, I am preparing for IAS examination, or even it is said that I am preparing for civil services examination, and all these sentences basically mean the same examination, that is civil services examination. Now, what exactly is this civil services examination conducted by UPSC? So it is nothing but it is an examination which is there to recruit 24 top officers for government of India and state government, basically officers like IAS, IPS, IFS, IRS, etc. Okay. Now let us see some of the posts which are there under UPSC. So basically UPSC, the civil service examination, this is there to recruit 24 officers. So let us see the officers one by one. We have IAS, that is Indian Administrative Services, a very well-known post. Then we have Indian Foreign Services, that is the people who serve government of India in posts like ambassadors and all. Now please understand that IFS also mean Indian Forest Services, but Indian Forest Services is a separate examination, and we are talking about civil services examination. Then we have Indian Police Services, then we have Indian Post and Telecommunication Accounts and Finance Services, then Indian Audit and Account Services, then we have IRS in Custom, we also have IRS in IT, then we have Indian Defense Account Services. Then we have Indian Ordnance Factory Services, Indian Postal Services, Indian Civil Account Services, Indian Railways Traffic Services, Railways Account Services, Railways Person Services, and a post that is Assistant Security Commissioner in Railway Protection Force, and also Indian Defense State Services. After that, we have services like Indian Information Service, Indian Trade Service, Indian Corporate Law Service, Armed Forces Headquarters Civil Services. This is a post which is basically Group B, and previously all the posts were Group A services. We also have a post that is called Delhi, Andaman, Nicobar, Lakshadweep, Daman and Diu, Dadar and Nagar Haveli Civil Services Group B, and also Police Services Group B. We also have Pondicherry Civil Services Group B and Pondicherry Police Services Group B. Fine. So till now, you people must have noticed one thing, that all the top officers in all the departments, be it Department of Post, Department of Telecommunication, Railways and Taxation, Custom, in all these posts, basically UPSC is the body that conducts the examination that is called Civil Services Examination. Now among all the posts, that is all the 24 posts, the most popular posts are IAS and IPS, and in fact IAS is exceptionally popular in comparison to even IPS, And that is why civil service examination is also known as IAS examination. Now let us understand eligibility, that who are the people who can sit in this examination. So eligibility is very simple. Any Indian citizen who has reached the age of 21 and he is at least a graduate can appear for UPSC civil service examination. Now what is the cutoff that? The cutoff date to calculate the age is 1st of August. That means if you are becoming 21 of age on 2nd of August, then you are not eligible for this examination. Fine. You have to become 21, at least 21 years of age on 1st of August. Now 1st August of which year? That is the year in which you are appearing. Say for example, if I have to appear in UPSC 2021, that will be say perhaps in May or June 21, then I will have to be at least 21 years of age by 1st August 2021. That is the eligibility. Now as far as this graduation is concerned, the people who are in final year of final year or year in which notification of UPSC is there, in that year that person can appear. Now one more thing is there, that there is no percentage barrier for UPSC. That is, you just need to be a graduate. Doesn't matter how much percentage you are having in this UPSC, you just need to qualify this examination. Now let us come for limitations of this examination. Now for general candidate, there is age limit of 6 and attempt limit of 6 and age limit of 32. There are many people who qualify UPSC even at the age of 6. For example, this year, that is latest UPSC 2019, Rahul Reddy, All India rank 117, has qualified UPSC in his 6th attempt. Then we have OBC. For OBC, age limit is 35. That is, there is a relaxation of 3 years and attempt limit is 9. Again, they are having 3 more attempts in comparison to general candidates. If you talk about SCs and STs, then age limit is 37 years and there is no attempt limit. That means they can appear in all the attempts up to the age of 37. Okay. Now let us talk about plan of examination. So I have a very separate video for plan of examination. So in this video, I'm just going to discuss plan of examination in a very brief manner. So basically there are 3 stages in UPSC, and if you see the notification of UPSC, then UPSC writes 2 stages and not 3 stages. But in popular terms, we say that UPSC has 3 stages. What are the 3 stages? First is prelims stage, then we have mains stage, and then we have interview stage. That is, say for example, if 5 lakhs people are there who will appear in prelims examination, then out of 5 lakhs, approximately 10 to 15,000 people will qualify prelims, and then they will have to sit in the mains examination. And out of say 10 to 15,000 people, approximately 2,500 to 3,000 people will reach up to the stage of interview, and marks while preparing the merit list will be taken of both these stages, that is mains stage and interview stage. And that is why UPSC call it 2-stage examination. First prelims examination, and then these 2 stages are clubbed as 1 stage, because while calculating finalizing the merit list, marks of both mains examination and interview stages taken into picture. Now prelims is purely of objective type, and mains is there of written type, and interview is there of verbal type. Okay. Now let us see the medium of examination, because there are many people who wish to appear in non-English medium. So basically in UPSC there are 3 papers which we can divide. First is language paper, then we have general studies, and then we have optional paper. So obviously if a paper is of language paper, then you'll have to answer in that language only. For example, if paper is there of Hindi, we cannot write that Hindi language paper in Marathi or Gujarati. That has to be there in the same medium only. So we'll not talk about the language paper. But as far as general studies paper are concerned, and including essay paper, so there are papers like first paper, there are 4 papers for general studies, and then 1 more paper is there for essay. You can write these papers from any languages in 8th schedule of Indian Constitution. That is, you can write the paper in Hindi, Marathi, Gujarati, Bengali, etc. And then same is there for the optional paper. You can write the optional paper in any of the languages from 8th schedule or the English. Fine. But there is Also, one thing that has to be noticed here, say for example you wish to write general studies paper in Hindi, then in that case only you can appear this optional paper in English. Fine, that means it depends on you. Either you can appear both general studies paper and optional paper in English, or you can do this thing also, that you can appear general studies paper in Hindi and optional paper in English. But one more thing is there. For example, if you wish to write GS paper in Hindi, then you'll have to write the entire GS paper in Hindi, entire 4 papers and essay paper in Hindi only. You cannot say that I will write one paper in Hindi, another paper in English. That is not the option. Now, as far as question paper is concerned, question paper in UPSC will be in only two language, that is English and Hindi, both in prelims examination also and main examination also. For example, even if the people who wish to write the paper in Marathi, they will get the questions in English or Hindi, but they have the option to write the paper in Marathi. And literature paper or language paper, obviously that will be of language of that particular literature only. Need not to explain this part. Now let us see how UPSC decides who will become IAS or who will become IPS. So it entirely depends on the rank of people and their preferences. Say for example there are two people, Ram and Shyam, and Ram has given his first choice IAS and second choice IPS, and Shyam has given the first choice IAS and second choice IPS. And if there is only one seat in IPS, then one seat in IAS, so Ram is going to become IAS and Shyam will not become IAS because there is only one seat. So Shyam will get his second preference and Shyam will become IPS. But if there are two seats of IAS, then Ram will also become IAS and Shyam will also become an IAS. So it entirely depends on your rank and your preference, because there are many people who wish to become IFS or IPS in comparison to IAS. So that's your personal decision. Now, how rankers get state cadre in IAS or IPS? So again, the logic is same. It will entirely depend on your choice on your rank. For example, the rank one, he can get the choice of his state and also the choice of his services. But one more thing is there has to be a vacancy in your state. Say for example, Ram is rank 1, but Ram has filled Haryana as the first option and Gujarat as the second option. But in that year there is no vacancy in Haryana, then Ram will get Gujarat and not Haryana. So it also depends on vacancy from state to state. Now, what are the subjects? Those are in UPSC. So in UPSC, we have almost all the subjects under the sun in part of UPSC. So I have made a separate video for subjects. You can watch that video to get the idea about subjects. Okay.